Why do 83% of pro golfers fail to break 90 during casual play? In golf, breaking 90 is shooting below 90 for 18 holes. This is a study of why only 17% of pro golfers seem to be able to do this when playing casual golf. This is a crash course on golf. We visited the World of Golf, Golf Week, and Golf Digest to get to the bottom of why it seems so hard for pro golfers to break 90 outside of tournaments. Join us and discover why breaking 90 appears to be a hard thing to do. Let's discuss reason number one. It would be logical to assume that because they are pros, they are able to crash the game every time they play. You may also think that because the pressure is less if not absent when pros play casual rounds, they would breeze through them without a sweat. Think again. The difference between playing professional tournaments and regular casual rounds is actually the first reason why pros fail to break 90 when playing casually. Asking them to play a casual round is like pulling the rug out from under them, and here's why. You must remember that in pro tournaments, they are pampered with grounds so pristinely green and trimmed to perfection. Every blade of grass seemed to have been trimmed with a tiny pair of seasons and not with a lawnmower. The pins, on the other hand, may have been placed in challenging ways, but in ways that golfers are able to master after playing them repeatedly. And then there's their caddies, who are walking, talking GPS systems, having the intel on every slope, every gust of wind, and every angle of the course that can either ruin or make a shot. With their PhDs in golf course management, they function as a second brain for the pros. They turn to psychiatrists holding their golfer's hand at the moment of crisis and to guardian angels whispering in the ears of their golfer the sweet advice on how to make the right shot at any particular moment. Now, what happens to a pro when he's asked to play a casual round outside of a tournament with no perfect grounds to play on and no support system tagging along? It becomes a different ballgame altogether, spelling mayhem. It's like he has been taken out of a structured, high-stakes environment and placed in a surrounding that is completely unknown and alien to him. Even Tiger Woods can fail to break 90 playing a casual round, despite his winning 15 majors to his credit, simply because it wasn't a real competition, the conditions were different, and the tournament focus was absent. Being outside of the tournament bubble, many pros suffer, not only Tiger, to break 90 with their game going completely off, making them miss putts that they usually sink even in their sleep. They are comparable to world-class chefs who are asked to come up with a 5-star meal from the leftovers of last night's dinner. When pro golfers are not in tournament mode, they do not glide through casual rounds as they are normally expected to. They somehow find themselves out of their elements because their brains have become wired for high-pressure situations, of which casual rounds are not. Without the pressure, their game unfortunately turns into shambles. What is the second reason? When there are no stakes on hand, the pros lose their competitive edge as they feel no stress during play. There is no intensity in their shots and things can get wobbly. Because their shots do not carry the weight of their careers, everything just feels off. They need tension to produce the intensity they require to play at their peak. Take Rory McIlroy, who's a consistent machine on tour, usually scoring under 70 in events. He admits, though, that when just playing with friends, he loses his magic touch along with his adrenaline. He finds it hard to focus on his game. His scores creep closer or even over par. He needs the leaderboard and the crowd to get his game going. With no one around judging his every decision, mistakes start sneaking in his shots, and he is no longer the same golfer you watch during his tournament performances. And it's not only Rory, there's also Phil Mickelson, another course legend known as the king of the short game, who can shoot in the mid-80s when thrown in a casual round. What is weird, though, is that a 2019 psychological study has it that professional golfers actually experience higher levels of anxiety playing casual rounds compared to playing competitively. On the contrary, there are studies that find 10 to 15% of golfers perform bad without the competitive pressure pushing them to do their best, with other studies stating that the performance of golf athletes drop by 12% without the external drive that tournament play provides them. The studies are not confined to golf alone, as athletes across various sports experience an 8 to 10% decline in their performance outside of competition, including during practice sessions. So we can only assume that, although the anxiety is higher playing casual rounds, it does not provide the same positive effect that the anxiety of professional competitions brings to the game of a pro golfer. One perfect example is Brooks Koepka, a four-major champion who turned up the brightest light in 2019 after winning the PGA Championship, shot an 85 during a casual round with some of his buddies at Shinnecock Hills, where the US Open is held. He later admitted that without the tension of a big event, it was impossible to stay focused on his game. He is simply not as sharp as he is when playing tournament rounds. Dustin Johnson, known for being the coolest guy on the course, admitted that his focus slips off playing casual rounds. This was evident when playing with friends after winning the 2016 US Open. He found himself in a struggle to stay under 80, eventually charging the cause to the absence of competitive pressure. One main difference in the way that professional golfers play casual rounds is they're not sticking to their routines of planning every shot, calculating everything from the speed of the wind to computing the exact yardage their ball needs to traverse and visualizing the perfect shot they need to come up with. They ditch all of these routines thinking, why go through all the effort when there's nothing on the line? They end up rushing their shots, and before they know it, they're making mistakes one after the other to the detriment of their game. What comes in third as the cause of their inability to break 90? The third reason why the pros cannot crack the magical 90 mark when just messing around in casual rounds is what many considers the nightmare of a reason. It is a known fact that it is not the mastery of the golf strokes or the possession of the best swing that makes a good golfer. It is not even the possession of the best physique. Of course, having all of these is a plus, but the best golfer must carry a different kind of game in between his ears, the mental game. That's where the real magic or disaster happens. Everything looks so easy watching them on TV during tourneys, but when the cameras are turned off, that's when the complications start to unfold. A wandering mind has no place in the tournament grounds. However, it does find its way during the casual rounds played by the pros. In the absence of the pressure of a mistake that can cause them their careers or loss of a substantial check at the least, golfers allow their minds to wander away from their games. They become bored students in a classroom waiting for the bell to ring, signifying the end of the lecture. In the absence of a real purpose, there is a difficulty in maintaining their focus on their shots. And once their laser focus on their swings vanishes, they begin to miss putts and drives, and they go all over the place. 72% of professional golfers blame their lack of intensity in playing casual rounds to the absence of the tournament structure. Without this pressure dialed in their brains, they simply are unable to put their best foot forward. So for professional golfers, it all boils down to the ambiance, the presence of tournament pressure, and the mental resilience to enable them to break 90. Meanwhile, we hope that you have the mental resilience to proceed to the next video for your uninterrupted viewing pleasure.